Hi guys, today we've got a 2019 Toyota Aygo. Here it is in X-Trend, guys. Now what X-Trend basically means, it gets 15-inch machined alloy wheels, it gets red accents on the bumper, the wing mirrors and the sills. And as an option, you can have this full-length canvas powered roof, which is actually really kind of cool. It turns it into a convertible. Now the Aygo, I've always been fascinated by this car. It was introduced way back in 2005 as a joint venture with Peugeot and Citroën, and they had their own versions of this car. The second generation of this car came out in 2014 and it got heavily updated again last year. At that point, Toyota made it a little bit more distinct and they gave it this very cross face at the front, like an angry little terrier, although it's supposed to be based on a Japanese cartoon character, I think Astro Boy. Toyota also put their own 3-cylinder 1-liter engine in there, which produces 71 brake horsepower and 69 pounds-foot of torque, or 93 Newton meters. Now that doesn't sound like much on paper, and in fact 0 to 62 miles per hour or 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is in 13.8 seconds for this 5-speed manual. You do get an X shift, which is what they call an automated manual, so it's clutchless, and that one will do that time in 15.2. Top speed is 99 miles per hour, 159 kilometers per hour. So that might not sound like much, but from behind the wheel, it's a very different story, but we'll come back to that. Don't forget, this car only weighs 900 kilograms. And the other great thing about it is it just refuses to use any fuel. Toyota claimed 56 miles per gallon, and I have actually been getting 56 miles per gallon. And again, with CO2 emissions, you get only 93 grams per kilometer, or 95 for the automated version or the automatic version. It is really tiny, it's very sweet looking, I do like it. The question that you're thinking, at 6'2", do I fit in the car? Well, in the front, yes, absolutely no problem at all. I'm very, very comfortable in there. The rear passenger compartment, however, is a different scenario. I could just about, with a struggle, get into the rear behind the driver's seat set for me. But if I have to be in there for any more than 5 minutes, it's like torture. And at that point, I would confess to everything. You wouldn't even have to take me to Guantanamo Bay. I would just tell you everything right there and then. The boot, well, there is a boot. You could probably put your weekly shopping in there. Now, you may be thinking that as maybe a small family with a couple of kids, because it does have ISOFIX anchors for child seats in the rear seat, you're thinking maybe you could use it that way, but don't forget to think about the paraphernalia, like, buggies and pushchairs, and make sure that they can fit in there. You can, of course, fold one or both of the rear seats down for extra room. Up front, of course, like I said, it's very spacious and excellent. Good all-round visibility, so that's not an issue at all. The instrumentation is very clear, very obvious. It's also very well equipped. Let me read it out to you. It's got AC climate control. It's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which works very well on there. It's got a decent stereo with DAB radio. It's got a speed limiter, trip computer, voice control, auto lights, heated door mirrors, reversing camera on this one, plus ABS and stability control, and even hill start assist, plus tire pressure warning on this as well. You can, as an option, even get some driver safety aids like lane keep assist and collision avoidance assist. Now, I've really been looking forward to driving this car and trying to find out if it is as fun to drive as it is to look at. So let's do that next. So, first of all, I love the way 3-cylinder engines sound. They always sound great, and it's got a nice roarty rhythm to it, doesn't it? It will rev up to 6,000 RPM. First gear is really what you want to use. To be honest, starting off in second is a bit tricky. Actually, you like to keep it in lower gears to actually get some performance out of it. So even if you want to overtake or something, you need to actually shift down. But what you will find is actually the higher gears are very long. So you can go quite a long way without even changing up, and actually there's a shift light on the dashboard, unsurprisingly, just to remind you to change up, and I'm not surprised about that at all, because I have forgotten a few times myself. Still very economical though, and it also says a lot for the refinement of the engine, that actually it doesn't get too gruff if you leave it in the lower gear. It's actually fine. So we're on a nice little windy road here, and good brakes, as you've just seen. It's a light car and it feels it. It's very agile, very nimble. The turning is very good. It's electric power steering, yet there is, a kind of sense of feel in it. Not a lot. It's quite a light wheel, but not too light. So it's nicely weighted. But I like the way it's been done. The main thing about it is the nimbleness, the way that it handles. The reality is that actually, whether I'm driving on a winding country road like this, or whether I'm driving in the town, as I just will be once I turn left from here, it's fun in all occasions because you're not having to go that fast to have fun. So even at lower speeds, you feel like you're going quicker, and actually you're enjoying it. It's a very easy car to drive. The gearbox is very, very slick. First, second, I think a couple of times maybe I balked on the second to third, but that's probably me. There you go, no problem, rather than the car. The clutch is light and easy. The biting point is very good. Like I said, all-around visibility is excellent. The controls are all to hand. Everything is easy to use. This stuff here, Apple CarPlay comes up on there, so your sat nav and everything is on there, and that's very easy to use. The AC is down there. It's all very logical. It has a reversing camera, but I don't know why you need that. It's a tiny little car. You just look over your shoulder and there's the back of it. So, but anyway, it has that, which is nice, I suppose. But overall, I gotta say, and the ride, impressive as well. Again, there'd be a temptation to make a little car like this either too soft to make it nice and comfy for the sort of purchases maybe they were thinking of, or a bit too hard if they were going for a sporty market. But I think it's, again, very well judged, and I think that's the thing about this car. Toyota somehow have actually fine-tuned it and figured it out and got it spot on for not only making it easy to use, user-friendly, family-friendly, well, not family, can't put family in it, but user-friendly, but at the same time, for people that like to drive and like to change gear, quite satisfying. I gotta say, overall, it's one of those cars that I was really surprised by. I'm really taken with it, even more than I was expecting to be. I've grown very fond of it. I've driven it all kinds of conditions. I've had it for a week now, and it's performed flawlessly in all of them. Barely sipped any fuel, that's the other positive. And it's one of those cars where, honestly, hand on heart, I would consider owning it, especially when you consider the price, which I didn't give you at the beginning. Less than £13,000 for this spec car. Prices range from under £10,000 to just over £15,000. So with that in mind, and considering you get all of this kit and all of this stuff for £12,500, it's a no-brainer. The only thing that would stop me is the fact that there's no room in the back. That's the only problem. And so if you're going to need those seats, as I would do, being a family person, then you'd have to look elsewhere. But if that's a very occasional thing, and you don't really need them very much, but you need something that occasionally you might need to use, but for around town you want a good little car, this is the one to get. So there you go, a massive thumbs up for this little car. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know what you thought about the review, the car, me, anything else you like. Make sure that you follow Brown Car Guy and keep up to date on all of my channels. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one.